Model, my baby boy, Seth. Okay, as I was saying in the last video, Seth's hair is longer. Okay, so what we're going to do, for those of you that might not have clippers at home, but you have a regular kind of comb and a pair of shears, we're going to teach you how to do what I refer to as what we call a shear cut. Okay, so he wants to keep a lot of his curls, so I'm just going to basically show you the basics for how do you use a comb and a shear to get you the desired length that you want and to blend the hair in. But then afterwards, what we're going to do is we're going to take our clippers and then we're going to use that to basically give him a 2.5, 3 on the side, and then we're going to taper the back. Okay, so with that said, the way you always begin a clipper cut, a shear cut, let's first talk about the dimensions of the head. Okay, so first thing is, we talked about this last time, you have something called the nape. Okay, normally the way the hair will grow is with the nape, you can comb it down this way. Okay, and then you have what we refer to as a crown. Okay, the hair is going to grow this way down the head, and then you're going to have it kind of grow this way. All right, and then based on where that cowlick is, in barbering we call that a whirl, because you have the hair growing in different directions. Okay, so if you see that. All right, now the one thing about a whirl is, that I didn't cover in the last video, is if you cut into this wrong, you're going to patch the hair, you're going to plug it. So you want to stay away from that. So that's why you always want to take your comb and comb your hair in the direction that you think is growing in. Okay, so that way when you get ready to cut, okay, you'll have everything ready to go. Same thing on the sides here. His hair is growing down this way along the ears. All right. Okay, we're going to go to the other side and see the same thing. All right. Now, remember, this is the crown of the head, top of the head, the nape, and then of course you have the base, which is the neck. All right. Now, the first thing you want to do when doing the shear cut is you want to determine what your desired length is going to be. So he says he wants to maintain the majority of his curls. So typically, when you look at your hand like this is typically an inch. Okay, so I'm going to probably take 1.5 inches off of his top. All right, that's about that much hair. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create something called a guideline first. Okay, so I'm going to pull this hair up this way until I feel like I got 1.5 inches of hair that I want to cut off. That's about 1.5 inches there. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically do it this way. All right. Now, in order to make sure I maintain the same length, now I'm going to grab the new part that I want to cut. Okay? So when I come up, if you look closely, you can see the last part I just cut, and now I have this next part that I'm going to cut. Okay? And you never want to go past this second knuckle, because that's when you start cutting yourself. All right? So now, this guideline, I've now got even hair. Does that make sense? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull more, coming to the front, and I'm going to come all the way up. Okay, you see that there's more hair. Now I have my guideline there. So I'm going to snip some more. And I'm not going past that second knuckle, because if I go past that second knuckle, I can cut myself there. Okay? Now, I'm going to come up just a little bit more, and then I'm going to stop. And the reason is because I have hair that's now kind of going in front of his forehead, which we typically refer to as being bangs. Okay, so there's a certain way you have to cut those. So now I have my guideline, all right, and I have the length that I want to cut. So this part here shows you everything is pretty much even, and where it's not, I just kind of come back and kind of clean it up. Now I have the length that I want the top to be, okay? Coming all the way up. This next part here is down here. So I'm going to cut that differently because of the way we want to probably end up styling this hair. So everything, as you can see, coming from the back to the front is now all the same length, okay? Now, here's where we start to work with the rest of the head. Now I'm going to go this way. We're going to come across, using this as our kind of guide. Does that make sense? So when I do this here, I'm asking y'all if it makes sense, like you can answer me. But But if I come here and I pull the hair up, you can see that there's a part here that I have a gap, and that's my guideline. So the goal here is to make sure that the rest of this matches this, because that's the length of the hair that I want. Okay, so I'm going to cut that, and now I got half of his hair looking pretty much the same. Now I'm going to come on the other side and do the same thing. Come all the way up. As you can see, if you look close enough, I got this part here that's still long, right? So I'm going to come and scoop this hair up. And now I'm going to come all the way across, up to the second hump. So now this back part is ready to go. So now I'm going to come up, and I'm going to do the same thing all the way up, okay? Coming all the way up. Making sure everything is even. All the way up. See that? Now, coming all the way up. Okay. Now, we did say that we have some bangs here that we're going to drop down. And typically when you're doing bangs, it's the same thing. I'm going to pull my hair all the way up. Depending upon how far I want to take it, I'm going to pull my hair all the way up, just like this. And then I'm going to come across. As long as this is the desired length that I want. Okay? Same thing on this side. Okay? This is where it starts. Stops. Now I'm going to come here and I'm going to line everything up. In this instance, I really want my hair to be a little bit wetter. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty comfortable with the length of his hair. Okay, on the top. So now what I'm doing is I'm kind of going around and I'm trying to see where my unevens are. And I got a little bit here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to look at that. And I think there's just a little bit that's uneven. See, that's the part that's uneven that I just identified. So I'm just going to snip it, okay? Coming back down. I'm going to come back over here, see if there's anything else that's uneven. Okay, just a little bit. So now what I'm doing is I'm fine tuning. Okay, that's a little bit better. So this, keep in mind, this is just with shears, okay? Now, same thing applies. If I didn't want to use my clippers, I can come down here and pretty much kind of do the same thing. I can determine how short I want this, okay? And then I can do this here, okay? And I can do pretty much the same thing. Start there, and then come around, same thing. Coming around, same thing, until I get the desired length that I want. But because we're going to do a clipper, it's going to make my job a lot easier. So I'm going to go ahead and do that really quickly. And we're going to do a 3 on the sides here. And then I'm going to show you how to blend everything in, okay? So like we said from the last video, clipper, then we got the clipper guard, okay? We want to do a 3, which is basically represents 3 inches, all right? So all we're doing is this, going all the way up. Sheffy said, Dad, don't take my curls away, so we're not gonna take his curls, okay? So all I'm doing is I'm doing a 3 here. Hold your head up, son. There you go. Why are you frowning? You don't like being on video? There you go. All right. So basically what we're doing with Seth here, we're going to do a 3 all the way around, coming all the way up, because he wants to do a man bun like his brother. So we just trimmed his dead ends off. Okay. The other thing is always, always have two hands on the head, okay? One working, the other one holding. So all we're doing now is just basically doing the 3. All the way around. This hair is slightly wet, like I said, so that way it makes the hair easier to cut with the shears. Alright, so now we're coming all the way around with it. And we're going to do this side here. Alright, here we go. And we're only going up to the crown, okay? The guards are good because it'll also prevent you from nipping the ear. So we're just going up to the crown. Alright, now that we got pretty much that loose hair, I could have did it with the shears, but it would have took a lot longer. So now I'm going to show you how to blend the sides in with the clipper and the shear, and the comb. Shear and the comb, excuse me. Alright, so now you have this here, this kind of effect. Now, the same thing applies, right? So when I did my guideline up top, when I kind of did my short, and then I lined everything up, now you can see I have a short here, right? So now what we want to do is we want to blend everything in, okay? So all I'm doing is catching this hair here, right? And I'm kind of giving my hand at an angle so that way I can start to blend it down in. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. And this takes time, so you just got to be patient with it and just trust the process. Okay, so we still got this little bit here. So same deal. We're just cutting the bulk down. And then we combed it down to see how it looks. And I can see here I still have a little bit more bulk to cut. And of course, these shears came with the kit that I bought. But normally within the barbershop setting, we have more expensive shears that cut the hair like feather. As you can see, it's starting to come in, right? Okay, so now we're going to continue to work our way around. And we keep blending, okay? So as we still keep this here, this is what we refer to as bulk. I can even take my shears like this along with my comb, and I can blend in this way. It's kind of mimicking the same thing that the clipper does. All right, we got some bulk there, so we're gonna take some of that more of that out. And move your head some.
Blocking.
You want to come around? You can come around this way if you want.
I was trying to catch things
Okay.
that you didn't
All
want.
right, so as you can see, we're starting to blend everything in, right? So we got bulk here, right? So all I'm doing is this. I'm bringing the hair to a bunch, and I'm taking it away. All right? So you can see it's starting to blend in, okay? Same thing on this side here. I'm going to come back, right? Remember how we kind of said, here's our guideline? Now look. And I can also take my comb like this and blend it in. Now, you can see why we like to use a clipper, because it takes a long time to really do a clipper of a comb, a shear of a comb haircut, because, you know, especially when hair grows all different directions like his does, it'll take you a while, okay? But what we're doing is we're basically just working the clipper, trusting the hair to fall where it's supposed to fall. And that's all we're doing. Got a little bit there, right? Snip. And keep combing it this way. And always keep the shears pointed back to you, so that way you're not poking or cutting anybody. Just working the curl in. As you can see, there's a little uneven spot right there. So we got to keep working until it gets it all out. All right, so with this haircut, we've already started working to basically break the curls down. And now what we're going to do is give him a tapered back. Okay? And that's basically when we take this side here, and we're going to basically fade it. And then like with Trey, I'm going to basically do the other side of his head, and then I'll show you the finished product. All right?